I think because I had in my head like for a couple of weeks about why, for example, I know like the miners are taking a fee on the Coinbase with the Coinbase on the Bitcoin Cash blockchain, but I was really thinking why the core developers, for example, building a node, why they don't take also a small fee on each transaction to make sure they can continue to work and make this fantastic job that they're doing. Because once again, without all these core developers, we will not have all these fantastic technologies that we have today, and we couldn't build all these fantastic products. So I was really thinking like why we could not agree about having, for example, like a percentage of fee for like giving directly to the core developers to continue to build their product, the product that we use. I was thinking about something like this was not yet in place to make sure Bitcoin Cash can continue to grow and reach the roadmap that they have.
It's an interesting thought for sure. So, yeah.
It's a tough question.
Yeah, I think so.
So Jean-Baptiste, like I'm just curious, like were you aware of that whole question, like that was hotly contested topic before, or did you just come up with this idea?
No, but just like this idea I had since the beginning. I don't know about Willy stories or whatever, but just I'm saying like I'm not necessarily aware about if there is like free story or something. But basically, I just know like these kind of things can really make like core developer continue to do what they are doing and to make sure they don't have any influence from anybody in the space. Like for example, I don't know, me, I put I don't know 1 million on the table and I want to have a direction for the blockchain or something like this. So I believe like. So once again, it's not politics, it's nothing. It's just like I'm just thinking just as an engineer, I'm thinking like if you want to continue technology continue to grow and to reach the goals that there is like in the roadmap, why like there is not a fee like this? Because like we are thinking, we are saying thanks to the miners, right? We are giving like a Coinbase to the miners. We're saying thank you very much, guys. You are running the blockchain, right? So it's kind of similar. Like the developers, they are like also kind of running the blockchain because they are building the product, right? That the miner run. So I find of kind of legitimate. It's not a story about capitalist or something like this. Huh? You're not doing that. You're just, it's normal like to core developers to survive and like to have at least a minimum amount to continue to grow this this technology, right? So just like makes sense. So just for that.
Yeah, so I don't know. Oh, you're not finished. You froze for a moment, Jean-Baptiste.
Okay. Sorry. So yes, I was just saying like I had in mind this idea since like a couple of weeks, and I think like we are in a live stream, so maybe some people want to participate to this conversation. Like maybe the community want to share some comments about it. I'm really curious about what the community think about it. But I believe if we really want to have like a robust solution, we should like trust the core developers to provide like a robust solution. So when I say core developers, I'm not talking about only ABC. You know, it can be every node, right? So that can provide, can get these funds to continue to build what they're doing.
So something similar to what you described was put to a vote recently. It created a lot of tension in the community. I think a lot of those tensions come from places that you hint at in your description. You're like, okay, we don't want some well-funded party to send the protocol in some direction that we don't want to. And well, I think I think there are well-funded party that would really want that, you know. And so there is a fair amount of opposition around that. And And that is not just a well-funded party, right? Because once you have well-funded party that are willing to do that, then you have a bunch of people that are willing to take money from those well-funded party to go along with it. So that was highly contentious, and that didn't happen. But I would like to remind people some numbers. Like the last big fundraiser that happened in the community raised about 500K US. That seems like a lot, maybe, but that's actually very, very small. If you compare, so Bitcoin Core put, I'd say, like between Chaincode Lab and Blockstream and MIT Media Lab and like those few companies that built the protocol, they probably put together something between 10 and 20 million, I'd say, a year building that. Ethereum put about the same. And even if you look at much smaller projects, I'm thinking about the Avalab recently, because I know a few people there, and they recently closed a round of fundraiser, so that's a good opportunity to get numbers there. They raised 18 million for a project that is just new, that is way smaller than BCH is, but they still raise 18 million, and so. By far, like BCH is funded, the infrastructure of BCH is funded maybe like an order of magnitude less than other competitors of similar size. And we can always argue that, well, we can do things like so much more efficiently because we are so much better. And to some extent, we are doing things more efficiently, but there is some hubris there as well. Like some stuff just costs money. If you want to have a sufficient number of people to be on call and be ready if there is a problem to intervene, for instance, because some people are going to be in weekends, some other people are going in holidays, sometimes some people are going to be sick and so on. You need a much bigger team than what we have. And if you want to have that much bigger team and that is full-time working on the stuff, you need to pay them. And so just for that, we need like way more resources than we have. And in addition to this lack of resources, those resources are spread out to pit people against each other. And that is also a conscious choice, like that stem from the culture of that space. There is this attraction to be the underdog and be the revolutionary. And well, at some point you get to grow out of that. Like we did the revolution 2 years ago, and we need to stop. Like this was revolution time 2 years ago. Now it's building time. And if we don't switch to the building time and we continue to do the revolution constantly, then we won't go anywhere. And so those are the fact of the situation. The thing is, like, we need to find an order of magnitude more money if we are gonna compete sustainably in that market. And well, where is it gonna come from, right? Like, it doesn't seem like it's coming from the ecosystem itself. Plus, if it comes from the ecosystem itself, well, the flip side of that is that there is an order of magnitude less money to fund other stuff, right? And you'd rather see that funding go into like VC effort for companies that build stuff on top of BCH rather than pouring it into the protocol. Because same thing, like, we won't be competitive if we don't have people that build on top of it. And if we pour all our resources into the infrastructure, then we have nothing to build on top of it. So all in all, the strategy that we have right now, just like economically and financially, doesn't make sense. And anyone that wants to run the number objectively can see that, and that have any experience in building any kind of software infrastructure, we'll see that the number really don't add up. And so so something need to give here somewhere. I'm not sure what that's going to be, but funding stuff with a part of the Coinbase would provide the kind of money that is needed. even if it's a few % of the Coinbase. So that's an option. But if people are going to oppose that, then they need to be very cognizant that the alternative that exists right now to that funding mechanism will not lead to any kind of success. They're just like way too, like the number are way too far off to give us any kind of long-term success option. And so, so yeah, that's probably the cost of ideology. I don't know, but or maybe people just don't realize what the numbers are. I don't know, but something needs to happen there if BCH is gonna stay competitive.
It's really interesting that you're saying about funds when you said like maybe it could be also provided to because I believe if you have a fantastic blockchain but no apps is used, it's like having electricity without any houses using the and also yeah, the application makes the reputation of the blockchain, show also how the blockchain is powerful. So yeah, it's I think it's definitely really important to have application. And once again, like once I see well, once I don't critique like Bitcoin Cash node, no? Like I have some guys that I think I know in the SLP channel or something like this, but I saw they raised recently like a lot of funds. So basically there is a lot of funds in the community, but like any applications, me I can see application is like try really hard to raise funds and it's really tough. And then when I see all these funds going for a node that we have, for a new node that actually we have already a lot of nodes in Bitcoin Cash that I mean, we have everything. We have BCHD, a great node for application. We have Bitcoin ABC, Bitcoin Limited. That I mean is like we have a couple of nodes on BCH. And when I see all this funding, I think like VC or like personal, like business angels should really consider to start really funding applications seriously and really quickly, because I think like blockchain is I think today it's the best timing for product on blockchain for applications, and it's today. So that I mean is like if application doesn't success to reach the masses or to go to market and have success and to get successful story about to the world, like that I mean is like everybody will forget about blockchain, Bitcoin Cash, etc. So if we really want to make blockchain and Bitcoin Cash a success, we really need to start to believe in application built on Bitcoin Cash and start to fund them and to help to grow. So yeah, it's really something that I saw in the space. It has been really difficult for us, for example, on HoneyPay, to try to find funding in the space. The reason why we are getting out of the space, but it could be great to see some change there and to start to support application. When I'm talking about HoneyPay, not necessarily. I'm sure there is other great product in progress, but yeah, and just that I wanted to share about funding.
Yeah, so if I put myself in the shoes of a VC and I'm going to talk to someone that is building something on top of BCH, well, my first question is going to be like, why BCH rather than some other project, right? And the thing that's going to come back to me as a VC is that this is an extra risk, because things are being built on an infrastructure that is funded on a shoestring. And VCs, like the community may not be aware of those numbers I just talked about, but VCs, this is what they look at. And they are very good at, like evaluating this kind of stuff. This is their core business. And so they're going to see, well, this is a community that is funding its infra to the order of 500K a year, and that consider that a great success. This is like this is a big red flag for stuff that VC specifically care about, and so that's a bit of an issue, I think, and that's probably one of the reason it's difficult, right? Because really, you don't want to be like, oh, we need to fund the products, or no, we need to fund the infrastructure. Like the reality is that you need to fund both, because both depend on each other. And
Exactly.
if you don't fund both, then the things is just not gonna work. And so if you have limited resources and you need to fund those two stuff, and those both are pretty expensive, if you want to make that happen at scale, then we need to get smart and find creative way to get the money in, because the way it's happening right now, it's just not gonna work. Like the only thing that it's gonna achieve is that it's gonna bankrupt the people that believe the most in BCH, which is exactly what you don't want. A successful system would do the exact opposite. It would ensure that the people that support it the most get richest over time, richer, or get the richest over time. And right now, this is not what's happening. And so the incentives are just not aligned, and it's not bringing it enough money to succeed with the objective that we set for ourselves. And we need to be very honest with that. Because VC are going to be very honest with that. VC, they don't invest in ideology. They invest in businesses. And they're going to look at all the number, especially the financial numbers, and do the calculation based on that.
So I promised Jean-Baptiste that we wouldn't take more than 60 minutes of his time. Well, we have two more questions for you that I wanted to ask, and then I, and then if you need to go, you can we can let you go. But so first question from the chat: is HoneyPoints written in Flutter?
Yes, exactly. HoneyPay is fully written in Flutter, in Dart. Yeah, exactly. The second question.
Is there any particular item on the roadmap that is important, on the Bitcoin Cash roadmap, that is important for HoneyPay? Or does HoneyPay just mostly rely on the long-term scalability of the Bitcoin Cash blockchain?
I will answer the second point. Yeah, I think I believe we have great engineers to think about it, to make things happening. I think we have all the same goal: the scalability, cheap and reliable transactions. So yeah, I think we are all aligned about the main goals that we try to reach. So yeah, I will definitely answer the second question. Sorry.
Cool. Excellent.
Well, I don't know. You'd be surprised. Like yesterday, I was reading this tweet from someone that is like a prominent person in the BCH community. And I don't want to publicize that because I think it's a terrible message. But basically the message was like, oh, there are plenty of blockchain that claims to have very high TPS. And even though most of them are bogus claims, some of them are actually actual claims, right? And some of them have higher TPS than we do. And yet we are more successful than them. And therefore, there is no point in increasing the TPS. This is not, that is not a success condition. I think this is extremely short-sighted. And as Jean-Baptiste just pointed out, like making sure that there is capacity going forward is very important. And infrastructure is a slow-moving beast. And so you want to make sure that, like if you do nothing, by the time you reach the capacity limit, it's not like you can change everything at the last minute. It's not going to be possible by then. First, because you won't have the people, right? Like the people that can do that, they need to be working on the system for a while to have enough of an understanding to know how to change it. Like, the same way, if you have an electric grid and suddenly you have a city that is like very big, that it's installed there, or a very big factory or whatever, you cannot just hire a bunch of people coming out of nowhere and revamp the grid. Like, it's just not gonna work. It's not how things happen, right? Like, because this is a technical job, and it requires specific knowledge. First, specific knowledge of how a grid works in general and what are the solutions, right? But also how this grid specifically has been set up. So you cannot do that, right? That just doesn't work. And so we need to stay ahead of this TPS stuff. Now, there is a point, like TPS is not the only thing that matters, but one thing that we know for sure is that if we don't have the TPS, then, you know, like if we're not interested in the TPS, then we can pack and go back to BTC.
Second.
Yeah, TPS is transaction per second. We can pack and go back to BTC. I mean, it's better maintained. It's, you know, it's just like more people pour into it. It has more network effect and everything. So if we are like, you know, the reason we separated from BTC is that they are not interested in growing the TPS. If we are not interested in growing the TPS anymore, then like we should go back. Like the rational choices for businesses to go back to BTC then.
And to grow the transactions per second, we need to, you know, increase the block size, right?
Well, it's not just that. Like it's like saying, oh, if you want faster car, you need to increase the speed limit, right? But that's not how the word works.
It doesn't work.
yeah, that's not like that's extremely short-sighted as well. It's like people are like, oh, you just change a number and things get faster. No. No, the number is here for security reasons, because if you remove it, a bunch of stuff can go bad and surely will go bad because someone is going to attack the system. Especially BCH is a target, let's say. So, so changing the number is like the easiest part of this whole stuff, right?
So what's the hard part?
Well, the hard part is fixing all the bottlenecks. And that part never finishes, right? Because you remove the bottleneck, then there is the next bottleneck.
For example, the mempool, right? That's part of it.
Yeah, mempool admission, the database level DB is originally made to save the settings in Chrome, right? And so that is what level DB was created for. And people have started using level DB for a bunch of stuff, including the Bitcoin UTXO set. And well, this is a bit more demanding than storing the setting in Chrome, let's say. And there are various design choices in level DB that makes it not ideal for that job. But it's not like we can rewrite the database system like that when we need it, you know. Any database system takes years to be put in place. So once again, this is something we need to.
Like I think it's like I guess
we need to get fixed. The mempool as well, yeah, but the mempool, same problem. Like the mempool is really at the core of the node software, and so it interacts with every other part of it. So if we change how the workflow works in there to allow for higher capacity, then we need to change a bunch of stuff. And now we cannot rely on core anymore, right? Because core has been building stuff in a certain way. And so that means that our maintenance costs shoot up, right? But as we've seen before, we don't have that much money for maintenance. So what do, right? We do it, and then we can make a big announcement, but then 2 years later, everything falls apart because we have no money to maintain it. It's just, it's just not gonna happen that way. It's not serious.
Yeah, I guess getting back to that message about scalability, like it's basically it's like a necessary thing, but it's not a sufficient thing. And it's like, yeah, you don't want to. And looking at looking at your business, Jean-Baptiste, as an example, like you said, you've been working on this for a year or more, and you had you started working on a point of sale system, and then you pivoted and built it on Square and so on. So all these things take a long time. If you're going to invest all that time and energy into building something, you want to have confidence. Like you want something that's good now, but also that you have confidence will be good in the future. For growth. Like another example is that, like I just found out yesterday that Shema, with his project, his stamp project, his wallet, he's been working on that for a year now. So like all these things take a long time, people, if you want to, and we want hundreds of these projects being built on BCH. So
yeah, that means that not only people need to be able to trust that project going forward for a long time, but they need to be able to predict its direction.
Yeah.
Right. And this is why we have a roadmap, and this is why we are so insistent on following the roadmap, because then people can build their stuff and they can look at the roadmap and look at where things are today, and they know, they know what to expect, and they can set their business direction according to that. And so now they need to worry about their business, and they don't need to worry about the petty squabble that happen in the community to know if we're gonna do X or Y or whatnot. And that is where those petty squabbles are extremely destructive. Like, to an extent, people don't realize, because the fact that the outcome of those squabbles is not predictable is just a non-starter for most businesses, because at the time scale at which they operate, they don't know when they have their product ready to launch. They don't know if what they have under their feet, that pour their product, is gonna look like what they want or not. And it doesn't even matter if the squabble is between two very good options. Like, do we want like caviar or foie gras? It doesn't matter, because the thing is, if I'm a business, I need to plan ahead on the fact that they're gonna be caviar or foie gras. And if I need to plan for both, then it's way more complicated for me. Or maybe I'm just not gonna plan because I don't want to invest the time to look into the petty squabble that's gonna lead to one or the other. And so this is probably the #1 stuff holding BCH back right now. We have a culture where someone is gonna put something together, make a big announcement about it, and someone is gonna be, oh, awesome, you like more developer doing stuff and whatever. But if those stuff doesn't fit in the roadmap, that's extremely counterproductive. That is a repellent for businesses that build on top of BCH.
Yeah, I think like everything is connected. That I mean is like you want to like we want some project, for example, like HoneyPay, shining, like making shine to the Bitcoin Cash blockchain, to make it like more popular, and it will be like same. Like for example, if we like. By the way, I just like announced like we are looking for our seed round. So if anybody know business angel or VC or people are interested to invest in HoneyPay, just let us know. Contact us at hello@honeypay.io. But like it's all about that. Like if you have a product application success on Bitcoin Cash get more reputation, and hopefully more funding as well. So everything, as you said, everything is connected. Like application and nodes both need to have funding to make like a great reputation to Bitcoin Cash, to the technology behind, and it all is together. So like if we have like successful project on Bitcoin Cash, we may have much more like projects like will come and said, we have this project is working like really great on Bitcoin Cash, so we can trust this blockchain, and they will come and jump on Bitcoin Cash and start to build product also on Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin Cash like it's everything is connected actually. So so I believe it's also like how I can say, like if we could like really focus in the funding, for example, like because it's a lot of dispatch today, like there is a lot of nodes, the funding is really dispatched between both, and if everyone is doing the small thing in their side with the small funds, it's really hard. I believe it's really hard to really reach some goals, and yeah, I think like being focused on some particular nodes could really like bring more funds to each node, and I believe more people working on it, and make things moving quicker actually.